car out. And it's rough. And we're in the same boat, like we'll have a campaign and you won't get not one, or you get 3 starters that you're like, oh, touch you with a pole. It's rough, but you need to, what we found is we just diverse. So we, like you said, we post social media, Facebook, websites, anywhere we go, even now, you know, we take every opportunity as that finding new stuff. So it's about your brand, it's about sharing your brand everywhere you go. It's about getting your team to be the ambassadors for the brand as well, so they are your recruiters. I don't poach, we don't poach staff. That is something that I'm very much, I'm like, I believe in karma and I don't want that shit coming back at me, thank you very much. So we use just diversify, like I said, everywhere. Seek, we do seek. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Funny, when I recruit for salon coordinators, wow, 200 people in 2 weeks, I'm like, yeah, can I get them hairdressers applying, same thing.
That's right.
But yeah, just anywhere and everything. We just did first time a social media, so Facebook, like a proper campaign with gifts and all that stuff. Interesting how it worked or didn't work. We got people sort of not applying, but just trying to get more information. So it's a new thing, I guess, for us to try, but I would just say just use whatever channels you've got on offer, and that's how you get it. And what Haley, you were saying, like same thing, we had people apply for positions when we weren't recruiting, and that's when you want them, because those are people who want to work for you. And that's what you want. You want ambassadors. You want people who are just like, oh my God, can you keep me straight? I die to work with Urash. And we've got that. We've got people that came in and trial and they couldn't speak a word because he was next to them, and I'm laughing my head off. But yeah, it's diversified.
Okay, there was one other question for you. If you drew your attention to the top of the screen, there's somebody out there that would like your phone number. Luckily it's yours. Thank you very much. Interesting question down the bottom there from Wella guys, which I'm sure is on everyone's mind every so often there. What are the thoughts on the rent-a-chair concept? Because certainly over the last 4 or 5 years we've seen this evolve more and more. It's always been there, we know that. But we haven't really had to worry too much about it. In the last 4 or 5 years we've seen this really evolve. That there's so much more emphasis, and it's easy for an individual person to go out on their own with a big rent-a-chair, doing home hairdressing, those sorts of things, and how that potentially affects us. Mike?
I don't know too much about the rent-a-chair situation, so I guess this would just be my opinion. I don't actually have any hairdressing friends that do the rent-a-chair situation. There was one person who I had approached to come and work for me. I knew that she was renting a chair at another salon, and when she told me how much she paid, I was just like, as if. Like, she paid the salon owner, I think, $400 a week, and she was there for 5 days. Like, she had all her own products. They had to have like all of their own like insurance and her own like air force machine and everything. But I was like, $400 like for someone just to be like, that's not much to have that chair for the whole week. Like, that's ridiculous. I think this is how this woman runs her salon, so there's numerous people doing that. I just don't see any value in it whatsoever. Like, and I wouldn't consider
It's there, it's growing.
Yeah.
We know that. We see the stats, the AHC put those figures out all the time. Benny, what's your take on those sorts of things?
Whoa, get my blood boiling. Rent-a-chair, I tend to agree with Mikey. You know, here's the picture and how I look at it. And I don't believe it. That we believe in what we do, and we do that really well, and we know that it's out there. I just totally agree that, you know, you as a salon owner, salon business, go out and set your business up. You spend all the money, you do everything that's possible, and someone just comes in and rents a chair. I just don't get that. Often I would say to the family, like, you know what, let's just shut that place down and go and rent a chair, because I'll know I can make more money doing that. So the belief in will it go away? I don't think so. I think it's just like any other business. there are things that are in our business that are there. And I just really believe that so long as we do what we do well and make sure that what we put in with our team and educate our team to understand that there is that out there, and you can make that choice if you really want to go out and do that. But for me, it's a short life, and don't know, like, you know, yesterday you hear a lot of speakers get up and talk to you about, you know, someone will have 5 different professions in today's world.
That's right.
And that's true. But, you know, is it in the same business, or is it something similar? And it's not. So I don't actually have the answer. To be quite honest with you, I just have a feeling
It's like turning your salon
I just want to keep doing it. Sorry.
It's like turning your salon into a prostitute. You sort of like renting it out.
You're turning a salon like a prostitute.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like
No, you said it makes your salon.
feel
Oh,
like,
it makes you salon.
you know what I mean? Like you're spreading it thin. You
Yeah.
created all this energy and quality, and then just like let it go to anybody.
You know what? I think that's a really good point. Let's ask the question to the audience. Who in the audience rents the chair? Because you're the one who can probably answer this question. No one? Right.
And the point out of this is not to dwell on it, it's to think about, we have our businesses, we run them our traditional way, let's say, and what we need to do to combat those sorts of things by making sure that clients will stay with us. Jamie alluded to, and I know something like the guys as well, alluded to the point of coming off from behind the chair, but making sure you're there to meet the brief and be the person behind the brand. So people come back to you more often than not, those sorts of things. So it's how we look at it internally to keep our people with us, have expansion or future plans for our own people, and if we don't have those, they'll make their own plans, which they tend to move on sometimes. And even with all the best laid plans in the world, somebody still wants to go and be in charge of their own destiny. So we are only able to have these people with us for as long as they want to be with us. That's it. Get over it. If they go and do their own thing, so be it. We carry on to what we do so bloody well. Elizabeth, you want to make a point?
I'm really passionate about this question because I think what's happening in our industry, there's this nervousness about what's happening, whether it be people renting a chair, people working from home, all that sort of thing. And what I'm really I feel really passionate about is that for salons, all of us that have salons here today, no one put their hand up that they're renting chairs, because we're putting ourselves on the line every day, training and paying forward our craft. And to me, the reason why we're here today is to celebrate our craft and what we do. And in order for us to celebrate our craft and what we do, there needs to be a sense of masters in the salon to keep training the younger generation. And yes, that generation is going to leave us. I've had many staff leave me. And the ones that I'm most proud of are the ones that have continued the structure that I started. And they've gone on to train more of their own staff. That makes me happy. What makes me unhappy is when I have invested a lot in someone and they have gone to work from home or they've gone to rent a chair because they're not paying forward what we put in or what someone did for me. So I think our craft is all about paying it forward, and it's all about maintaining the craft. And without that, we won't have an industry. So you make the choice on how you want to run your business. You make the choice on whether you're running a business alone or whether you're actually holding the craft and paying that forward. And that's what I love about Wella, because they invest so much in education. That's why I'm with Wella, because I love education. But education can only be maintained if we have the structure in our salons to pay forward the craft. And this is why we don't have hairdressers coming up through the ranks, because you've got to acknowledge what's happening around Australia. We have a lot of home hairdressers now. And home hairdressers are not reinvesting in the craft. They're not reinvesting. So for the 30% of hairdressers that are working from home, there's another 30% of hairdressers that are not not coming up through the ranks. This is why we have a problem. So for people like us, it's our responsibility to keep training really good people so we have an industry to be proud of. So that's what I want to say. Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? At the moment, a question up here which I like. Jody sent this one through there. What are some of the best incentives to motivate your staff? Anybody got some great ideas about incentives that you've put in place that have worked to motivate staff? Anyone? Ready?
Happy to go. Because I think this question's interesting because I don't think that there's one incentive that will motivate your whole team. I think you need to get to know every individual and then find out what clicks them, because some are motivated by money, some are motivated by gratification, some want time, and it's just finding out what best. And I think if you tap into individually, then you'll have a really great team incentive, but that's just my perspective.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we have run out of time. So a really big thank you to our very prestigious panel up here. You guys have been tremendous, and thank you very much for sharing that insight. What I would encourage, because in a panel like this with limited time, you only just touch the tip of the iceberg. What we need to do is, if you get the opportunity, come and chat with these guys at lunch or make some time with them there to explore some of those other things more deeply. And I pushed the guys yesterday on looking for more of the detail, because at the end of the day, all of us in business that are successful, we're doing all of these things. But some are more successful than others, and in there lies the magic. But it's really hard to see what that is. When I interview a lot of successful owners as to what do you do different to everybody else, the number one thing they come back with is, I don't know, I just do this, doesn't everybody do it? And the point is they don't. We all do staff appraisals, but it's not the staff appraisal, it's how that's executed. It's not the incentives, we all do incentives, it's how that incentive is. We all do training, obviously, but some people just do it better and more successfully than others. And it comes back to that bottom line of, we're in this and it's an investment. We've invested our heart and soul, our family and our money into something to get a major return. And to get that major return on our investment is about the profit that we make. We look at our best performing salons, and not one salon stands out that they have all the KPIs really high. They're just above average on all those things there. If I put the question out to the room as to what the retail percentage to turnover should be in a salon, in this country here, it generally probably sits pretty high, a lot higher than the UK, that is for sure. But we want to be able to push those sorts of things and make sure that we've got the right training in place to grow that stuff in order to give you and I the freedom of choice what we do in a week. To our panel, thank you very much.